In my opinion, this is pretty obvious, and there is no need to talk about it because it's so obvious. But what's obvious for you may not be obvious to everybody. So, in case you're not paying attention, let me draw your attention to this syndrome, to this phenomena of Indians trying to create conflicts between Christians and Muslims and even among Muslims themselves. So, for example, like let's talk first about how they try to create conflict out of nowhere between Christians and Muslims. Oftentimes, when you watch videos when it involves Indians, you see in the comments some kind of beef or some kind of bullying between like Europeans and Indians or North Americans or and Indians or like Christians in general and Indians for whatever reasons, whatever is the reason, whatever is the comment said something like there was that arm wrestler from Russia having an arm wrestling match against an Indian, and then in the comments somebody would say something like, "Hey, the Russian guy only lost because of the stench," something of that sort. I'm not endorsing that, of course, but somehow in the comments, instead of handling the beef, and instead of like manning up to the beef and defending themselves, the Indians, what they do is oftentimes they try to involve Muslims in it, trying to create a conflict somehow. Like oftentimes you will see something along the lines of, "Hey, at least we are the only people doing something about Muslims," talking to like Christians, telling them, "Hey, we are the only people doing something about Islam and Muslims," trying to create conflict out of nowhere, even though Muslims has nothing to do with it. Like it was a Russian guy and Indian guy, and the bullying or the beef did not involve any Muslims anyway. But somehow they will try to divert the attention of them and try to involve Muslims in it in some using some not even mental gymnastics. They are not that brilliant, they are not that smart. They just say, "Hey, we are the only people doing something about Muslims." That's an example. Another example, uh, you see something of like, hey, when the beef is too bad, when they are like feeling humiliated by some guy in the UK or some guy in Europe, they would tell them, "Hey, you are going to be conquered by Muslims. Karma's real. Muslims are coming for you. You're going to be conquered by them." So again, trying to create this conflict between the guy in the UK or the people in Europe and Muslims or Christians against Muslims out of nowhere without Muslims having anything to do with it. So you see this all the time. It's been a pattern. I have noticed it so often, and recently I have noticed they are trying to use the same tactics to create division among Muslims themselves. Like recently, there was that I saw some news. I'm not sure. I didn't check the news because it's not important. It's not relevant to this video. It's like Saudi Arabia somehow banned its citizens from marrying from marrying Pakistani women. And in the comments, when you look at the comments, you see it full of Indians saying, because Saudi Arabians are originals and they do not accept converts. They are trying to label Pakistani people as converts and trying to label Saudi Arabian people as or Arabs in general as originals, and they are not accepting converts. Wake up, they are not accepting you, trying to create division between Pakistani Muslims and Saudi Arabian Muslims out of nowhere and out of ignorance, because if some Saudi Arabian people were idol worshippers at some point of time. They were not. There is nothing as an original Muslim and a convert. We don't have that in our religion. At some point of time, even Saudi Arabian people worshipped idols in the past, just like Pakistani people in the past worshipped whatever. So everybody is a convert, and everybody is an original Muslim. We don't have that kind of distinguish. We don't distinguish among Muslims on that basis, but they are trying to create division among us So if you're not paying attention, pay attention and wake up. It's pathetic and it's funny. Don't let it. Don't let them fool you. But it's obvious. It's I mean it's easy. But anyway, if you're not paying attention, there you go.